Just because it's easier to hold looking for a sense of control, but it's letting my pain find me. It's getting in my way. It's never too late to change. Let go, never look back. Don't wanna be a prisoner of my past anymore. So I'll free my soul. Keep going forward. Give closer to me. Focus on my future. Got one life, wanna make it count. Accept the past, gotta love myself. So I free my soul. Keep moving forward. Even when it is my fault, gotta own my side of the story. Last time never comes back, so why do I keep playing it in my head? When it takes away from the joy, who I am today. It's never too late to change. Let go, never look back. Don't wanna be a prisoner of my past anymore. So I'll free my soul. Keep moving forward. Give closer to me. Focus on my future. Got one life, wanna make it count. Accept the past, gotta love myself. So I'll free my soul. Keep moving forward. It's easy to get stuck in the past. No one should stay there for the free. Wanna miss out on new memories. So I'm gonna forget and find out who I'm supposed to be. So I free my soul. Keep moving forward. Get closer to me. Focus on my future. Got one life.
You're over there now.
Yeah, mate, just come over.
Every time I see Ted, he's got another young lady with him. I don't know how he does it. It must tell me your aftershave, mate. Do you know what, people, ladies, gentlemen, lovely, wonderful people? Every time you walk out of that door and hear people chatting away, enjoying themselves, meeting up with friends older than you, you know, it makes everything worthwhile. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So, enough of me. Thank you for coming to our service today. As you're aware, we did have a change of medium, and that was arranged by my spiritual medium secretary, because two things just happened together. I was like, oh, okay. So, we have the lovely Mark with us. Mark Stone, everybody, who I'm sure you know and well aware of. Absolutely beautiful speaker, and a great service for Spirit all through his life. So Mark, we are looking forward to your service
Thank you.
immensely.
Bless you.
Thank you. I will now shut up and sit down. Over to you, Mark, for the opening blessing.
Lovely, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let us just for one moment close our eyes, but open our hearts and minds in prayer. Gracious and divine Spirit, as we join together in this beautiful sanctuary of healing, allow us to step aside from daily life, to come into the stillness and the peace of this place, and to allow that light and that power of our spirit within to truly shine through and out to each other. Allow us in these moments not only to become aware of the power of our own spirit, the light and the truth that we are, but also let us become aware of those who come to be with us from the other world, those who are our guides and inspirers, our friends and our loved ones, and also to become aware of that great and infinite Spirit, that divine parent that we call Father, Mother, God. And allow us in these moments, as we blend together, to become a force of love and of healing, not only for each other, but also for this world. Allow us to radiate out that love, that light, that power into this world at this time, to reach out to all people in all nations, to reach out to the animal kingdom, to reach out to Mother Earth itself, and surround them all with a healing light and a love that is filled with compassion, peace, tolerance, and kindness. And allow us, as we sit here this morning, to blend with this light and power and draw upon its strength for whatever our own needs may be. Allow us to be lightened, brightened, and healed in this moment. Allow us to become one once more with that great light and power of Spirit, and remember that we are not separate, that we are not alone, but that we are a unified force of love, and that the other world, our friends, our loved ones, those who guide us, are truly only ever a thought away. And so, as always, let us place ourselves in their care and keeping for this hour to come, and knowing that all that is said and done, as always, is said and done in the truth, the love, and the light of Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Mark. Beautiful. And now we'd invite you both here within the church and also to our virtual congregation watching us online to join in and say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you. And now, Mark, we invite you to share your reading and philosophy with us, please.
Lovely. Thank you, Lawrence. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The piece I'd like to read for you this morning is by an American poet called Robert Frost, and it's called The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and, sorry that I could not travel both and be one traveller, long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent into the undergrowth, then took the other, just as fair and perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though, as for that, the passing there had worn them truly about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet, knowing that ways lead on to ways, and I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere, ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled, and that made all the difference. Now, this poem in American literature, Robert Frost is seen as a great American poet, and there's a huge debate about whether this is about the existential thought about do you go one way in life or the other, and how would your life have been different? And I was reading about this poem, and Robert Frost actually wrote it as a joke for his friend, because he used to go out walking with another poet called Edward Thomas, and Edward Thomas was terribly indecisive. So whenever they'd start out on a walk and a pathway would be ahead of them, Edward would go, well, should we go that way? Because that way looks really nice. Or should we go that way? Because that way looks lovely. And there'd be all this equivocating all the time. Which way, which way? And then as soon as they'd gone off on the journey, Edward would then be saying to Robert, do you know, I think the other way would have been nicer. And when I read that, because I hadn't heard that story, I'd heard the poem, but I hadn't heard the story. And I thought how interesting that view, because we can all do the looking back on the pathway, can't we? And we've all done it. We've all gone into that moment of saying, if only I'd done this. If only I'd gone that way. How my life would have been different. How things would have turned out such a different way if I'd only gone that other pathway, but I chose this one. And how many times after we've made that choice are we going down going, have I done the right thing? I don't know whether I've done the right thing. What have I done? Is there time to go back? But in the poem, notice, I saved it for another day, knowing I may never go back. When we move through situations in our life, we can only make the best decision in that moment, knowing what we know then. As we move on through our lives, as we look back upon our lives and reflect, which reflection is not a bad thing, so long as we don't get stuck thinking only about the past and looking at where we've come from. Because you're not travelling in that direction anymore, you're travelling ahead. Don't keep looking back, because otherwise you're going to fall over. You're going to bump into something you don't want to bump into. But there are times when we need to look back and reflect to say, okay, this is what we've done, but yet how much more lies ahead? This last year, 18 months that we've experienced has given us a lot of time for reflection. Maybe too much in many cases. But it's given us time to look at what have we gone through and where do we go from here on. You know, as I look at life, people sort of think that mediums get given a wand that turns every decision into a simple one. That means that mediums will never put a foot wrong. That mediums will always know the right answer. Do we know that one? Do people say that? And also the, well, if you were that good, what are the lottery numbers? And although saying that, a friend of mine, she dreamt one night of the winning ticket. When she woke up, she could only remember 5 numbers. So she just went out and bought a ticket and randomised the last one, and the 5 numbers that she had remembered were correct. But her brother, after the fact, turned around and said, why didn't you just buy another 40 tickets if you were that sure and randomise the last number? And she said, now you tell me after the fact. So I think she won a couple of thousand then. That was in the days when even 5 numbers were not very big. But, you know, the hindsight, shoulda, coulda, woulda, when we look back. Now, the thing is, when we make a choice and we learn and we grow and we move beyond it, and we can turn round, reflect and say, do you know, I wish I'd done something slightly differently. I wish I'd made different choices. I wish I hadn't said, or I wish I had said. That shows a level of learning and of growth. And I say to people, it's not a mistake we've made back then. It's a learning we've gained since. That we've come to understand that maybe we would have chosen a different route. Maybe we would have chosen a different way. But actually, look at what it's given you. And who's to say that the other road would be equally as challenging, if not more so? How many times maybe that we embraced an opportunity, threw ourselves off the edge of the ledge and just hoped that we would fly, and maybe we did. But what would have happened if we hadn't? What would have happened if we didn't trust the little voice within? What would have happened if we fought against all the feelings and the impulses that we had within us to go a certain way? And we all have those. Even when we look at the life that's ahead of us now, we've gone through a time of great uncertainty, although every day through life is uncertainty. Even before we're born, there is uncertainty. Whether we even make it to this earth, there can sometimes be that level of uncertainty. And so every day we are faced with pathways that open up before us, pathways and opportunities to take and make choices in that moment. Who said your life today and tomorrow has to be the same as it was yesterday? No one bar you. No one bar you. Because every day we are at a new beginning. Every day when our eyes open, we have a choice of how we enter into that day. Do we wake up and go, oh, as maybe we have over the last year? Or do we wake up and go, right, what's today going to be? What are we going to put into today? How is today going to be? What wonderful things am I going to be able to do? What wonderful people am I connecting to? What new opportunities may come my way? Same day, different attitude going in. And if we look back with that shoulda, coulda, woulda kind of attitude, it should have been this, it could have been that. Only do that if you're willing to make a change going forward in what you do and what you say. Only do that if you are going to apply what you've learned. The things you never said that now to people around you, you need to say. One of the saddest things I find often as a medium is when people come back and apologise for never having said, I love you and I care about you. Even when they have done so strongly, but have never voiced it. Have never said how much they care for people. How much they appreciate those people. When you look at what lies ahead of you, what will you choose to make it? You know, we still have a lot of things we're going to be dealing with in life in the days and weeks to come. We have a lot of personal choices we are going to need to make. Make them by what feels right to you and your conscience. Do not be forced by other people to feel you have to justify or explain what you do for yourself and your loved ones, which has become a very divisive thing at the moment in our society. Whatever way or side or place or pathway you are taking, it's being set off as one set of travellers against another. You, by your own conscience, by your own heart, are guided and led. As you're going into each day, what are you creating and therefore leaving behind upon your pathway for others? Our movement tells us that those who have left this world physically come back to support us on our pathway because they've trodden it and walked it themselves. Hence when we use a term guides, although my friends in the spirit world say we'd rather be referred to as friends rather than guides. But what does a guide do? They help you along a pathway. They show you maybe where to tread or one of the safest routes to take, or maybe even help you when you're going on a more challenging route about where to place your feet so you don't slip and fall. And the other world do that. On Thursday when I was taking a service, I was saying to people, you know, just because people have left this physical world, their care and concern for you does not end. Their desire to help you, to support you, to encourage you and connect with you does not end. One of my friends, I went out and had a social drink for the first time in a year and a half. And it was amazing how quickly I got drunk. But one of my friends, his other half, is very agnostic, is almost atheistic in many respects. And he said to me, he said, well, what happens if when you die, none of this exists? And I said, well, to be honest with you, by the time I die, it won't matter, will it? And he went, what do you mean? And I said, well, if there's nothing after when I die, then there's nothing after, and therefore it won't really matter. So I said, why would it stop me living my life in a way that makes me happy and joyous and filled with love now? And I said, that's what my understanding, my knowing, my religion, my belief is. And I said, but I have too much proof. Again and again and again, over 30 years of being a working medium and 47 years of being born into spiritualism, I have too much proof and evidence that tells me to the contrary. And I said, depending on which one of us goes first, either you can come back and apologise to me, or I'll come back and tell you, see, I'm still kicking. Whichever way it goes. But you see, why do we then worry about the pathway ahead when actually it's a pathway that carries on and carries on and carries on in our knowing? You know, if we set a course, set a pathway, let's go back to the days when you used to do a route plan on a map. I know we're going back now. For some of the kids online, a map is a hard copy of the internet or Google Maps, and you'd get your pencil out and you go, we're going here, we're going here, we're going here. What's on the other end of a pencil? An eraser, so you can rub it out and retrace another pathway should you need to. And in our life, nobody expects us to be perfect, although in our nature, our spirit has a sense of perfection to it. Nobody said you can't fall down, but the important thing is that you get back up. We trip, we stumble, we may fall, but we rise. And as we move along this pathway, as we choose where we are going, make every step count. Make every person you meet along that pathway remember you in a positive way. There's the difference. A positive way. We've all been stressful. We've all been upset. But let it be in a positive way when we meet people. Let's try to have that understanding and compassion. Let's put our money where our mouth is as spiritualists and recognise that everyone is a spirit in the body, that everyone deserves love and kindness and respect, that everyone needs love and healing. We may not always appreciate that when we meet certain people because of the way things have gone. We've got used to having our masks on, so we've got used to being able to mutter under our breath without anyone lip reading. Come the time when you're not wearing those, you may forget that and somebody will say, what did you say? What was that? So, you know, be aware of how we make this pathway. Be aware of how you're touching other people's lives. When you meet other people, you know, a lot of people have not had a chance to really talk to people and open up to people in this last year. You know, many of us may have been lucky to have had family members that we're either in a bubble with or that we've connected to. But for other people, they haven't. And so when someone starts to talk to you and wants to talk to you and wants to talk about something with you, be a little bit mindful that actually that may be a really important moment for them. To have that moment to hear a friendly voice, as Lawrence said, to come into a place where there are other people, to be around other people. And as you plan where that pathway leads you, think about what's important now to you. What's important to your spirit, to your spiritual growth. You know, over the years, I've met many, many remarkable mediums. But sometimes you hear people say, oh, well, you see, if only I'd done this so many years ago, then maybe there's something I could do now, but I've left it too late. I used to go and do seminars down in Devon that were run by Minister Shirley Chubb, who was a wonderful, wonderful lady. She really is. And there was a lady that I met there, a lady called Evelyn Lloyd, and I don't know whether any of you will have met Evelyn, but Evelyn was Church of England, and her husband died, and they'd been together. They were like teenage sweethearts, and they'd been together all the way through their lives. And at the age of 70 or 71, he passed away, and she was on her own. And she'd never been interested in spiritualism, never had a look at it before. And then when she lost the love of her life that she'd spent all of her life with, she decided to go through the doors of a spiritualist church. And of course, her husband came through and proved the continuation of his existence. She then at 72 started to sit to be a medium in Circle. And at 92, she was still working as a medium on a platform. So if any one of you dares to say, I've left it too late, there is no too late, because this is only one part of the journey. This is only one leg of it. And it's never too late to change any aspect of our life, to enrich it, to make it better for us, for our loved ones, for the world as a whole. It just depends on us taking the steps on that pathway to make it happen. So don't regret and equivocate forever and a day about which way you're going. Feel into the heart and the spirit that is within you, and let it guide you to what is right for you in this moment, and boldly step forward into what that future holds for you. Because I can guarantee you, we can all look at the other path and go shoulda, woulda, coulda. But actually, the path you've taken has been the right one for you. And that's why you took it in the first place. So I'll leave those thoughts with you and say good morning.
Thank you, Mark. Absolutely wonderful.
You're welcome.
And we now come to that part of the service where we can practice that wonderful, beautiful gift of healing. You should never underestimate yourself and your own powers and your own abilities. Healing is not something given to a few, but given to all. So we are all healers, working in different ways and with different people and different conditions. But that same energy, that same love flows from the centre where all things come and all things return. So as we go into this healing meditation, I'd like to charge you with where you wish to direct that healing. Some I know are drawn to the environment, some are drawn to the animal kingdom, some are drawn to friends and families. It matters not. That's where your love is, that's where your heart takes you, so follow that, as we've just heard in the address also. So we go into this short time now. Just listen to the music, just gently close your eyes and send out that healing to the place where you know it is needed most. God bless you all.
Mm-hmm.
you slowly make your way back, send out a thought of gratitude and thanks for participating in this time of healing. For there is no greater cause, no greater energy that we can send out than that of love, of healing, upliftment and comfort. And know that during this time, as you have healed, so too have you been healed. Amen. We'll hand over to Mark once more. If Mark should come to you, it will aid in the communication. If you need to respond to, just please drop your mask, even though Freedom Day, as it's called, is just so scintillatingly close, we still must abide by the rules as they are today. So, sir,
Lovely.
thank you.
Bless you. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, as I'm sure you all know, but I shall repeat it just for the sake of it. Yes, no, or I don't know. Sometimes I know exactly where I want to go. Sometimes the information just comes in and I've not got sense of location. So if something makes sense to you, please put your hand up. Do not sit on your hands thinking, I'll just wait a little longer. I'll just wait a little longer. It's like somebody being on the other end of the phone going, come on, pick up, pick up, pick up. It's a bit weird. I've got 3 connections all coming together at once. So there's obviously a connecting information. It's Paul sat in the back. So we've got now. I'm going to point out who the 3 are because then I can work between you if I need to. Paul, Barbara, and Craig. Okay, I've got 3. Everybody all piled in at once, and I thought that's kind of you. But I know that I know I've got Charles and Roy. I know that I've got Mum coming through, Craig, and I know that I've got a lady coming in as well for you, Paul, where I've got this sense. There must have been a lady that connects to you who had a stroke-like condition prior to her passing that affected her ability to speak a bit and also to deal with things. It's affected the body and as well as the voice and the mindset. Would you understand that? Because I know that she was bringing me to you, and I wanted to talk about the fact that would this lady, is this Mum?
Yes.
Would Mum have lived near an airfield during the war? Tell me no if it's no, because this is where I think the jump comes back. Craig, would your Mum have seen planes going over during wartime? Was she near an airfield?
Not far away.
Not far away. No, that's fine. Thank you. Bear with me, but I've got this weird try thing going on at the moment, because I know that there's this feeling from Mum. Then I'll come back to you, Paul, and I'll come back to you, Barbara. I know there's this feeling from Mum about seeing planes go overhead, and I know they're like carriers and things like that. So I know I've got these memories of seeing our boys go out to war. And I know there's this feeling that comes in from Mum about the pride for you, okay? About the pride for you and how things are. And I know that with her as well, did she work in services at one point?
Yes, yes.
Lovely. Because I felt as if she's got medals or pips
Yes,
and
yes,
things as well, okay? Was she with the WVRS or not?
No, she's regular.
She's regular, okay, because I just got this sense of wanting to put the pips on her and things like that, okay, and right, okay, and I know that as she was bringing this in, that there's also this sense of saying to you, I know you've had a message from me last time I was here, but I just wanted to bring this sense of strength around you both, okay, and to give you that strength and to give you that love. Bear with me 1 second. Then I know that with Mum, she must have had either a brother that went off to services or hubby went off. Okay. Right, because I kept seeing planes again, you see, and that's why the planes came back in here. And I know that as she's talking about this, your Mum was very stolid. She wouldn't show that she was worried. But I know that she said I would literally say prayers nightly about come back safe, come back safe. Okay, because I just have this love, and I know, please, that during all of this that's gone on, that you've been sending out prayers for other people. And I know that in a way, you don't often show that you get concerned or worried about people because you think, I'm just going to keep going and be the bright smiley face. But I know Mum's saying there have been nights when you've been thinking, oh God, I just hope they'll be okay. And so she's just like her. You put the I was about to say you put the makeup on, Paul, but well, it is a weekend. But I know you put the face on that makes people, you wouldn't know that you were in that state of concern. But I know that she brings that. And again, I know with you, Craig, sorry, keep it off for the minute. And I know there is the same here. The concerns that have been there, Mum's aware of. Okay, she's aware of the concern. And again, she's saying your mum would take other people's problems on board and literally say, well, let me help, let me sort it out, okay? And so I've got that sense of the mum stepping in with that, we'll take the strength, I'll give you leave it with me, I'm over here and I'll watch over them, okay? I'll watch over them. Your mum must have kept, the little insignia things that used to get on uniforms with the wings? After Dad being in service, she must have taken the buttons and the insignia bits off. Will you inquire? Because I'm aware of a metal, like I don't know whether it's a biscuit tin or a cake tin with buttons in, and there are insignias and there are buttons, and some of the buttons are military buttons. Okay, lovely. But not with Mum's things. Mum's stuff was kept separate. Yeah, lovely. Okay. Bear with me 1 second. I may come back to you again in here. Barbara, I know there are connections that take us into military with both Charles and Roy. Okay. But I know that as this is being brought in, was one particularly associated to RAF?
Roy was in the Air Force.
Okay, fine. I always think of Roy as engineering, you see, and that's where my mind is. So he's engineering within the RAF. Okay. Because I have this sense, there must be an anniversary that's almost now. We must be right on top of it. Okay, that's lovely. And I know that as this came in, there's this sense of, with both, I don't think I ever met Charles, but with both, I've got this great sense of, if I say the wartime spirit, nothing got Roy down, bless his heart. I even remember when he said, messages of my death have been greatly exaggerated when he was still with us. That was the kind of humour that Roy had with him and the strength that he had with him. But I know that they're bringing that in, and there's this sense of them standing either side of you and talking about the pathway forward. And I know that as we were talking earlier, and about these making decisions and coming to an acceptance of where we are going and what we are doing, there has been this sense of wanting to say, I'm finding it difficult not to be swayed by others. And I have Roy coming in saying, you only can do what is right for you. Don't be pushed to go further than you need to. You understand that? Because he said it's very easy to feel guilty and that you let people down if you don't say yes.
Yes.
Okay? And he said he said, do as I say, not as I do, because he would often not say no. And then he said, I've agreed to do so and so. And you go, Roy, we said we weren't doing that. But I couldn't say no. But he's coming in and bringing that sense of saying, it's okay to say, this is my limit, this is all I want and I need. Okay? I know you've written books because obviously I've got them at home. But is there another book that's being written or a compilation of writings that's coming together again?
There's one on the computer.
Lovely.
Come off.
That's fabulous. Because I just said to him, something else I don't know. And he's talking about this collation of information. So that's lovely. But I know that oh, bear with me, there's a jump back again. Craig, can I ask you, has there been talk about going abroad? I know we're all kind of thinking about, can we get away? But is there a connection with you with Gibraltar?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I just wanted to talk about connections to Gibraltar. And thoughts of travel and thoughts of plans of travel. I'm not going to give you a holiday destination apart from... But I get the sense of wanting to travel to visit friends or family that take me into picturesque areas.
Yes.
Okay, and I feel as if I've got to talk about taking a little break, which someone else is doing all the driving. So I don't know whether it's a coach thing or it's a tour.
I want to cancel tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Maybe you'll get to rebook in some way. Not necessarily that one,
No.
but I keep feeling this sense of going up the side of the country and up to Lake Districts and places like that. Okay. Because Roy would have loved that, and so would have Charles. It's interesting, both of them had very similar like of nature and love of nature, okay? Would you also, right, hang on a second. Would you understand the surname of Page?
It doesn't quite come to the forefront.
Right, then I've left all three of you. So, Roy's and Charles's love, Mum's love, Mum's love. Okay, and I have this connection coming here with the name of Page. And I know that as I've got this connection, I don't know whether it's Betty Page or Betty is a separate name where the name Page would connect. But I feel that I have connections that would take me round Dover as well. So there must be family or memory connections to Dover. Who would this make sense for? Betty, Page being a separate name, and connections to Dover. And I'm not certain whether the Dover connection is to do with family holidays. I don't know whether people used to go to holiday in Dover, but they must do. It's by the sea. You understand this, Ian? Yeah?
I get the Dover, and not the Betty or the Page.
No. I need the Betty and the Page. I need the Betty or Page. What do you understand? Betty, not the Dover.
No.
And not the Page.
No.
No, you're not having it then. Hang on a minute. Let's just have a look at this one. Oh no, hang on a second. I'm going to come back to you, Barbara, because I've just had Roy go, no, you've done that wrong. Have you got books of Betty Shines?
Yes, but Roy's mother was called Betty.
Ah, okay. And if I go to the Betty Shine books, there is a marker in the Betty Shine books. You've got markers in them, or there's a page marking. He put them in. Can I get you to go and have a look? Because did Roy, or was it you, who would sometimes collect bookmarks from places we visited?
Yes.
There you go. Page, Betty, Dover.
I
Can you
just
go?
bought 2 bookmarks.
Lovely. Well, can you go back and have a look at Betty Shine or Betty Page? Betty Shine, look in the page and look for where Dover, it might even be that the word Dover is in the page that Betty Shine's talking about, okay? So none of you are getting Betty Page from Dover. But I'm glad we found it, otherwise I'd have Roy chew me ear off in the car going, you didn't do that very well, did you, son? Bless him, okay. So, yeah, I got you. Or have I? Now, it's really funny, I've got I've got a little light that I know there's a light there, but I've got a light going around my group of ladies. I want to come into, I've got 4 ladies all sat in like a little diamond shape. Would one of you have a connection with either an aunt or a grandmother where I've got Lillian, but most people would have referred to her as Lil? 2. Right, see, I was right in the area. So bear with me. So I've got 2. So bear with me when I've got this lady. Is this aunt or grandma? And is this aunt or grandmother? Mother is Lillian. Okay, bear with me. But people would say Lil. Yes. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's work with both of you for the moment. So both work with me because we've had this lovely linking up of more than one, and that's really nice. It's something different. So I know that first of all, I've got the lady who's referred to as Lil here, and I know that as she's talking to me, I've got a very humorous lady, a very strong-willed lady, and I know that with her as well, she was not frightened of taking a man to task if he stepped out of line or was too cheeky. So literally, it doesn't matter whether they were a foot taller than her, she would tell him, you know, you can't speak like that, you can't behave like that, and she'd literally kind of bring out the rule with the iron rod, but she wasn't afraid to do it, even when she was older.
She used to do it with me.
Okay. I've got the feeling she'd do it with men as well. There was a bravery in this lady that said, I don't care how big or how old they are, I'm not having it. Would you understand that as well, Sue? Sort of. Okay, bear with me. So we may be with our lady at the front, but Sue, keep listening for me anyway. But I know there is this feeling that with her, that she brings this strength, you see, and I feel I've got to give you, because and I'm not being personal when I say this, but you are a bit more timid and a bit more mild than Lil was. Would that be fair to say? In some ways, thank goodness, because not everybody got on with her. You understand that? She was not always an easy lady to deal with, because she said, I'm not going to sugarcoat something when it needs to be said plainly, okay? But I know that you are much gentler and much softer with people, thank heavens, okay? But I know that as she's coming in here, there is this sense of wanting to give you that attitude of plain speaking, because there's been a few times now and you've gone, I'm not going to say anything, and you've bitten your tongue, and then things have carried on, and you've thought, I should, you know, the path, and we look back and we go, why didn't I say it then, rather than get to this point? Remember what we said in the philosophy, from tomorrow onwards, from today onwards, speak plainly, but from the heart, and then it's not hurtful. Often she would speak first and think later, okay? It's almost the fieriness that's within her, okay? And I know that, yes, all right. I know that Mum must have also had difficulty with that behaviour, being around her, because again there is that taking things to heart too easily with Mum that would upset her. If somebody was brusque with her and harsh with her, she would take it. You know, Mum could often be the buffer with you and grandmother, okay? And I know that as that's brought in, your mum is not one to wallow in self-pity, but I know that Mum struggled a lot because of how that behaviour had been to her when she was younger. So she was the buffer, okay? It's not to say there is not a love and appreciation for your grandmother, but there is an acceptance that Nan's a tough cookie. Okay, Nan's a tough cookie. And that's only, again, because of the upbringing she had. You know, it's very difficult sometimes when we have relationships and we say, why couldn't have people just been nicer or more? We're often a result of how we've been brought up and the experiences, and sometimes we are just trying to survive. And I know that's what goes around your grandmother, just the trying to survive. Not to excuse what happened later on though, okay? But I do feel here, as this is being brought in, there is a lot of healing that comes to you, but I also know there is a lot of healing that goes out from you. So again, that love and that putting out of healing into the world is really important, and you're being thanked for that. And I know that before Mum passed, you were very much there giving the healing and bringing the healing around her. And she's so appreciative of that. You gave up so much time when your mum didn't even feel you really should. You should have been out there. But she said thank you. Okay, she said thank you. Did your mum have freesias by her bedside? Because I can smell freesias. So if she didn't have the actual flower, she must have worn a freesia-like perfume that was very light, very floral, not heavy, just beautifully light. And I know as well, as she's bringing this in, do you have a little handkerchief set of your mum's, or did you have that for a very long time? You know when you used to get like 3 and they used to be in a little box contained? You would have had, that's okay. Because I kind of feel that Mum was always lost without her handkerchief. If she hadn't got one tucked under her watch, she'd have been, I've come out without, like we have to do with masks now, I've come out without one and I haven't got my, you know, and should be so concerned about, it's not right to have a tissue, you have to have a handkerchief, you know, a lady always has a handkerchief. But I know there's a lovely, as I come away from the other stuff with Mum, I know there's a lovely sense of humour, and I know when we go out with Mum and we spend time with Mum, we can just enjoy, you know, a beautiful cup of tea, a beautiful little walk. We can go to places that are just ours, you and me. And I know how much Mum appreciates those memories and those times, and I want to remind you of them. And I want you to, you must have walked, it reminds me, it may not be this place, okay, but it reminds me of when you used to walk by the river at Wick, and there's the cafe and things like that, and going for a walk by the riverside or by the waterside, and there's lovely memories that I have of that with you, okay. Let me just check this. Nearly. Was it you? Did your mum at one point teach dancing, or is there someone else you knew who was a dance teacher?
No, but they used to, Mum and Dad used
To dance. Okay, that's. No, I've got someone else coming in. This might be a jump on a link. Bear with me 1 second. Sue, did you have someone who you knew who taught dancing at one point?
I learned dancing,
So you would have had a dance teacher.
yes.
Yes. Okay. Bear with me. Let me leave Mum's love and Nan's love as well. Nan was, you know, when we said sometimes people don't say it until they come back. Nan's saying, "I do love you." Okay, and I do love you, and she's got this way of holding your face, and it's almost like, you know, sometimes when you're a kid and people hold your face and they squidge it, and you think, "I wish you wouldn't do that," but I've just got Nan coming and doing that with you. Okay, as the affection and the love is there. Okay. And, you know, when we go over, we do change. We do change, okay? Your Nan must have loved violets as well, and the fragrance. I find violets quite strong, but she would love that fragrance. And she would have also either had African violets in the house, but I know there would be violets around her
she had a sister called Violet.
as well. I love you.
Really into violets this summer.
Oh, well, there you go. Nan's obviously coming in and putting her full penny in as well. So she liked them, you're going to like them and have them around. See, I always find, I went to a friend's for dinner, and he said, and it was his parents' house, and he said, don't bring anything. And I thought, I've been brought up, you can't go to a house without taking anything. It's wrong. So I thought, I'll take wine and I'll go and take flowers. So I went to a florist, and everything was in bloom. It was lovely, and I kept being drawn to these gladioli that were not blooming. They were just the green stems, you know. And I kept going, I'll get those lovely because they're really in bloom. And I kept going, get the gladioli, get the gladioli. And I'm going, I'm not getting a whole load of green sticks. It looks like I'm turning up with the veg course. and when I got there, and I said, I had to get these for you. I'm sorry they're not in bloom. And she went, oh. She said, yesterday I was going to buy gladioli, and my husband said, no, don't get gladioli. You know, don't get them because you know. And so she said, and I really wanted them, and I didn't. And I said, well, there you go. You've got your gladioli to you with not wanting your gladioli. So there you go. So lovely. Bless you. Sue, let me come to you. If this is going back, you may not remember much about your dance teacher, but I had this memory and this connection with a dance teacher. And I know that I had dance teachers too in my youth, and they are tough cookies. Because, you know, you keep doing it until you get it right, until it hurts. And I can still put myself in all the positions just. Now, I know that as this is being brought in and it's moving to you, I want to talk to you about the right and the wrong way of doing things. And we've had conversations recently about people who try to cheat the rules of the way things should be done and think that they don't have to do anything and they can get there. Okay, and I know that I've got this feeling, and was it your mum who enrolled you in dance, that she wanted you to dance, she wanted you to learn this, not just from the point of view of the social graces, but also from the point of view of deportment and the body? Okay, because I was put in dance because my legs bent outwards, and they still, if I stand with my knees together, they don't come together. So that's why I had to have dance to strengthen that part of the body. But I know that as Mum did it here, it was very much done because she wanted you to be a lady in all these respects, okay? Which you are. You've blossomed into a lovely lady. But I know that as she's talking about this, she's talking about the discipline that's required, that people think you can just get there with nothing. And she's saying, and this discussion's been had, and I know this discussion also relates to the spiritual work of things, and the dedication and the discipline that is required. That's interesting. Did Mum correct people on their speech?
Yes.
Okay, because she just did it with me then, and sorry, thank you. I don't mind being corrected. So I know that as we've got all of that coming in here with Mum, that there's also this sense, you know, your mum would think quite deeply on how other people behaved. And she wasn't always quick to act. But once she had made up her mind on something, there was no going back. And I know here, and she's not opening up your personal life, there are people and situations you have been thinking on for a long time. Again, as have we all. And there are things now your mum says do not fit with you as you are. Okay? And she said, you know how to move forward and deal with these things. It's just the sense of just letting it happen and moving away from what isn't right. Okay? Again, no explanations, no recriminations, just a sense of I move forward freely and easily. Okay? And I don't know whether this is with your mum or whether this is something that you've experienced, but I'm aware of problems here in the lower back going into the leg. Okay? Is that with you or is that mum? Both of us. Okay. With mum, it was something degenerative. With you, it's something that gets trapped. Okay? Just keep an eye that it doesn't trap. Okay? Sometimes too easy to think, I'll just overstretch. And then we hear a twang. And then an expletive goes up, and she said, we don't use expletives. But I know an expletive goes up. You're allowed to get away with it in those instances. But I just know here as well with mum as she's bringing this. She's bringing these beautiful yellow chrysanthemums in. Now, I know that those are not only were grown in a garden, but I know that they're also symbolic of an anniversary that comes in the month of August. Right towards the end. Okay. Because I just bring those in, and I bring them in for their brightness and their cheer. Okay? And I know that with mum, just very briefly before I finish here, I know that mum sometimes needed cheering up. And that you were the one who would then bring the colourful flowers to brighten her day. Okay? And would you remember, please, where there are peonies planted outside the front of a house, in a pot, next to the door? But this is to do with mum, or is this to do with your grandmother? Because I'm aware of a pot, like, you know when we used to have the old stone, what I call cement moulded pots that were done. And I've got peonies in a pot outside the front door. And I remember seeing them every time I'd walk through because they'd be so bright and so colourful. Can you think back? Can you think back whether it was where the dance studio was, where you went to your dance mistress? No, not that. Okay, because I keep seeing... Hang on a second. In that case as well, I still want you to look for that, but I know someone used to have the pottery that used to have the peonies on as well, and it's a particular type of pottery that I can't remember the name of, but they used to have the peony pattern. And I know those, but I still want to remember when you were young where I used to go with these peonies, because you would want to pick them and you'd be told they don't last if they're picked. Don't worry. Yeah. I know it's when you're little, and I know you go and all you want to do is pick them because you wanted to take the colour with you, and you were told they don't last. Okay, that's fine. Because I've got this sense, and again, I know you've just talked about planting and being assessed, but I know that planting and the colour of the flowers around you has been important around you as well. Okay? And anything else before I leave you? And did your grandmother suffer with her joints, her hands?
I don't recollect.
Hang on a second. Then that's not you that's been going, ooh.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine then. Because I just felt it and just sort of went, ooh, okay. So again, have that lovely healing that comes in there as well. And you know Joyce as well, please. Joyce is being called. Must be in spirit. Hang on. Let me just check something. You don't have connections to Fulham. I don't know. Fulham, the place in London. It is in London, isn't it, Fulham? Yes,
Yeah.
just checking. I'm useless with geography. I want to talk about Joyce and I want to talk about Fulham, and the two things should connect somehow.
I don't think so.
Let me take that back. Let me just ask quickly, if I haven't got a quick connection for this, then we may leave it. I keep hearing the name Joyce, and I know there's a connection with Fulham. Now, I don't know anything about Fulham in London, apart from there is a football team. There is a football team. So they're good for me knowing something about sport. But I know that this lady, either Joyce is from Fulham or we have family connections to Fulham, but somebody would understand Joyce, not shortened to Joy, definitely Joyce. And I know that this lady would have had like a cancer condition that took her over into the spirit world. Anyone? Yes, lovely. So you understand connections to Fulham. Yeah, come on. Breathe. Ah, there we go. Connections to Fulham.
She wasn't connected to Fulham.
No, that's okay. But you understand the connections to Fulham, and you understand Joyce. She didn't like being shortened to Joy. She was a Joyce, and she's quite adamant on that with her name, as if in life I don't like people who cut corners. I don't like people who shorten names when there's no need to. You're given a name, and that's because you're given that name, and that's how she kind of was. She's a very straightforward lady. I quite like her. I think some people would have been a little bit nervous around her because again she was flamboyant, she was strong, she was vivacious. I like vivacious as a word. Oh, vivacious, that was very American, vivacious. But I know there must be American connections then. If that doesn't connect with you, that must have connected with her. She must have known people. Okay, because I just kind of feel as she's bringing this in, she's bringing in this lust for life that she had this great lust for life, that great, even when she was not well, she was almost going to say, I'm not going to even think that I've got this. I'm just going to carry on with life until there's nothing that I can do. Okay? So I know that as she brings this in, she's bringing in that same spirit of you live life, you enjoy life, you know the dance as if no one's looking poem, you know, dance as if no one's looking, don't worry about what other people think of you, don't give a damn in any way, shape or form. And this kind of, do you know, this thing about American, I think she was very influenced when she was younger by when she used to watch movies. And you know when you used to get all the Hollywood grand dames of the film who lived life and it was fabulous and it was great. And it's almost like she would live in that semi-fairy tale that everything would be wonderful and everything will always turn out the right way. And I think that's actually in her favour in her life, because she said, no matter what went on with me, I was going to carry on and I was going to love life regardless. I'm directing my own film. So there's this lovely sense, and I know that as she brings this in here, she's taking us back to this talk about the pathway forward. And she's talking about it's your time to enjoy everything and anything you want. Okay? Anything and everything you want. Don't let whatever holds you back to hold you back anymore. Okay? Don't let it hold you back. I know we feel responsible for other people at times, and we feel as if we should be certain. Do you know, be you. Just be you. If somebody doesn't like you, do you know what? Forget them. That's the polite version. But forget them, okay? Forget them. I mean, this lady wouldn't have minded swearing. She would have come out with it if she said, oh, but in a flamboyant way, not in a harsh way, in a flamboyant way. But I know that there is this sense of saying to you, now come on, just go. And I know you're wearing that lovely blue, but she would have worn bright colours. She would have worn everything. And I kind of want to put these pinks and these blues and these turquoises all the way around you and say, just burst out there like a load of colour. And it's just, there's just this great love. There's this great affection and friendship there that is carrying on here. And I just want you to know just to enjoy and embrace it. Embrace it all. And there must have been a love with music and singing around her. I don't know whether she sang properly, but I know there is a love of music and singing around her. So I think that it would have always been on around her. She would have always put music on if she had the opportunity to do so. And something that's upbeat and lively. And again, it reminds me of people that I've known in my life. And you just think, they're a law unto themselves.
That's used to be me.
Lovely. Well, let it be you again. Okay? Let it be you again. Remember what she said. Don't let it hold you back. Be who you are and let it be free, okay? Let it be free. And as I said, what other people think and what other people do that may hold you back, break free from. And that would have been how she would have talked to you. Just come on, gather you up and point you forward, okay? That's a very funny thing to show, but I'll say it. Can you remember when it was the fashion to have macrame bags, the woven bags that were like stringed bags?
Yeah.
Because I'm being shown one of those. I don't know why I'm being shown one of those, but it's almost as if I'm going back to that era. You know, when we used to have those shopping bags that were like that, and people then ended up having dresses and lampshades and plant pots and everything. Do you know, I mean, God, they say everything comes back. Dear God, not macrame. But I know that there's a great sense of humour with her in that. But I know that she's making a joke about the way that places, because at one point it was the height of fashion to everything be like that. But, you know, some things are meant to go and other things are meant to come back. So in reference to what you just said, some things are meant to come back, okay? So let me leave her love and her affection with you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of both myself and those in the other world, I'd like to thank you for your love and your energy on this wonderful, bright and sunny day, and bringing in all this wonderful heat. I'm going to, just like the Wicked Witch of the West, I'm just going to go and melt into a puddle out of me left trouser leg. And I'll say good afternoon, those of you at home, God bless, and take care, and I will talk to you all soon. Bless you.
Thank you, Mark. Absolutely wonderful. Just a few quick notices. This Wednesday at 3 o'clock we have one of our Divine Style services. This week we welcome Carla Hain to taking our platform with us. Next Sunday at 11 a.m. we have a family gathering style get-together. These are very much off the wall, very much community-based times. They are not like the service you've experienced today. It's a bringing together of people in a religious aspect and in this church environment, but just to celebrate our own connections with the gods of our own understanding. We have the lovely Charlotte Cunningham, who will be coming in to share a few songs with us. Also, we welcome in that day especially anybody with children to come in just to be a part of the community, because if one thing this time has taught us, together we are stronger. So in reflection on that, we started our family gathering services just to bring people in, totally different environment and totally different set out to the service. We don't have an evidential medium as such working on the platform, but it's celebrating our unity. Thank you. That's a word. Our unity and our community. So that's next Sunday at 11 a.m. The last Saturday of the month, on the 31st, we have an evening of mediumship here with Warren Bailey. Tickets are available for that, and he will also be conducting private sittings during the afternoon from 4 o'clock. So details are on both our Facebook page, our website, or you can actually come up and talk to me in person. That'd be exciting, wouldn't it? A lot of you probably don't want to, but hey, I don't mind. So that concludes the notices. Mark, if you please, sir, the closing blessing.
Certainly.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once more, let us open our hearts and minds in prayer. Gracious and divine Spirit, we thank you for this time that we have shared together, for the love and the inspiration of the other world, for that beautiful healing power that we have all bathed in. And allow us as we go through this week to take that love, to take that inspiration with us and to share it with others. Allow us to be the beacon of light that others search out in their time of need. Allow us to be the channel for that healing power, whether it is through the action of healing, through listening, through caring, or through even the most simplest things as a smile and a kind word. And allow us to know each and every day that our loved ones in spirit walk with us, that they are only that thought away, and that whenever we need to, we can stop, take a moment, and be aware of the presence of Spirit wherever we are, and know that their love, their support and their guidance is always there within our hearts and our minds. And so, as always, we thank you for this service and this time we have shared together. We thank you for all that has been in the past, the present, and we look forward with hope and joy in our hearts to all that is in store in our future, down the road, along the pathway of life. And so, as always, we thank you with love in our hearts. Amen.
Amen. Mark, thank you so much, so much. A couple of very quick addendums to the time. Obviously, with the lifting of restrictions here in the UK tomorrow, it's going to affect the way that we worship. There will be a different layout of the seating within the church. I'm trying to accommodate those who wish to remain socially distant and with their masks, also those who choose another option. So it will be very much towards the back part of the church there. That will be socially distanced. The reason being, I'm not throwing it at the back because I don't like you, which is somebody has actually said to me. How blessed. You can come in, take your seat quietly and away from other people. You haven't got people breathing over you while you're sat there, and you can leave first. Towards the front of the church, we will experiment with different seating arrangements. So as we move forward again, you know what? If you want to continue doing something, please do. If you don't want to continue something, please don't. Please don't try and inflict that on other people. That's all I ask. You know, this is one of the signs of this time. We have to make our stance. Well, actually, we don't need to make a stance. We do what we feel is right for us, and God bless everybody else.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, very quickly, I did not know this. Somebody's birthday today as well. Somebody.
Working on my birthday, what am I like?
I know. Yeah, oh, no, bless. So even through the Mass, I think we can, you know what, we will be allowed to sing from next week. It's not been confirmed by the government, but I was reading the Church Times on a Saturday night. I know.
What a social life. You've got church times on a Saturday night.
I know. But in there, it said, anyway, moving on rapidly. So I think we can manage a quick round of happy birthday because Mark is such a sterling worker and kept supporting the churches when many others were shut, many others feared to come out, and that really needs recognition because we are so eternally grateful. So, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Mark. Happy birthday to you.
Hey, thank you.
That's the first song sung in this church since March. What an awesome way to reintroduce. I love it. Thank you all. We'll be giving Mark the bumps in a minute. Thank you.
No,
all.
there's too many of them. There's too many now. No, there's too many.
Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you too for you lovely people at home watching us now catch up. Have a glorious day. I'm so pleased now that we operate in the morning of the Sundays because the rest of the day is free. So enjoy. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Is it 12:15 then?
I know, outrageous.
It's really weird with that.